Hi everyone, the Greek goddess of great reading here. Today I will be reviewing Not a Drop to Drink by Mindy McGinnis. Regret was for people with nothing to defend, people who had no water. Lynn knows every threat to her pond: drought, snowless winter, coyotes, and most important, people looking for a drink. She makes sure anyone who comes near the pond leaves thirsty or doesn't leave at all. Confident in her own abilities, Lynn has no use for the world beyond the nearby fields and forest. But wisps of smoke on the horizon mean one thing: strangers. The mysterious footprints by the pond, nighttime threats, and gunshots make it all too clear Lynn has exactly what they want, and they won't stop until they get it. This book was so thrilling. I don't even know. I'm into post-apocalyptic novels lately, and this is a post-apocalypse where water is in shortage and there's the Ebola virus going around in the water. So even water in the cities is hard to come by because there's more contamination with everyone crowding into a city. So the government was trying to control water by cutting off water to people out in the country. So if you wanted water, you had to go into the city to get it, and then it stopped being that you couldn't even get water out in the country. If you went to the city to get it, you had to just come to the city and live in the city, unless you had something like Lynn did, a pond or a well or some other source of water near you that you could have. But the Ebola virus started to infiltrate because so many people were crowded into the cities for water that a lot of people equals a lot of germs, and so an outbreak occurred. None of this is really affecting Lynn at the beginning of the novel. Lynn lives with her mother out in the country, the house that her mother grew up in. She lives there with her, and they live right next to their pond, where they get their water from and the source of their life. Through unfortunate circumstances, Lynn is left to fend for herself through most of the book, and she doesn't know anyone else. She only knew her mother. But suddenly her mother is not with her anymore, and she has to fend for herself. She makes friends with strangers who come into her area of sight. Stubbs is her mother's old friend from way back in the war days, and she makes friends with three wanderers who are in a group together. There's Eli, who is a young boy around her age, Neva, who is slightly older than Eli but is pregnant when they find her, and Neva's young daughter, Lucy. Through interactions with these new friends, Lynn learns to open up a bit and maybe not use all of the rules that her mother taught her about pushing people away and keeping them out and just not letting anyone touch her food or her supplies or her water. While Lynn is letting these people into her life and into her heart, though, there is trouble on the horizon. There are strangers coming to her pond and who want to take that water and her other resources away, and they are dangerous men. Lynn and her new friends have to find a way to save their pond and save themselves from these strangers, and in that they go. I'm not going to say more about that because that's pretty much the whole climax of the book leads to that point. This book, though, was very evocative with sparse language, so it wasn't too overblown with details. There was enough for you to get by and to see the world in which you were transported, but it wasn't overwhelming to you. All the characters are really well fleshed out, even surprisingly Neva, who doesn't make too much of an appearance in the novel. She's kind of on the outside of things. She doesn't live with Lynn in the house. She doesn't communicate with Lynn very much because she's going through her own things, and you could tell that there was a lot of depth to what she was feeling and the mental processes that were going on in her head. I highly recommend you pick up this book. It is really interesting, and there is a sequel coming out called In a Handful of Dust this October, and I don't even know what else to say about it. Pick it up. You'll love it. I look forward to seeing you guys next time, and until then, keep reading.